history of India is full of amazing stories about its ancient civilizations, religions, and cultures, dating back to the Paleolithic age. India has one of the oldest civilizations we know of, and it has played a significant role in world history for centuries, continuing to do so today. While it's impossible to cover all of India's history in one piece, it is still a fascinating topic to explore. Evidence such as cave paintings and stone tools shows that the first signs of human activity in India date back to between 400,000 and 200,000 BC. We don't have detailed information about the civilizations living there that long ago, but we do know that one of the first advanced societies in India was the Harappan people. They lived around the Indus River and existed for the first few thousand years BC. The Harappans had their own writing system, a complex social and economic structure, and impressive urban cities and architecture. Around 1500 BC, their civilization mysteriously collapsed. Some believe this was due to frequent floods and other natural disasters in the region, or possibly invasions by people from Western and Central Asia. Following the Harappans, the next major civilization in Indian history was the Vedic Aryans. These people were migrants who spoke an early form of Sanskrit and were very proud of their tribal identity. The name Vedic comes from 4 sacred texts called the Vedas, which provide insights into their lives and beliefs. These texts are considered the oldest Hindu scriptures. By around 1000 BC, the Vedic civilization had spread their culture across much of India. They brought with them philosophical ideas about happiness and salvation, emphasizing that these come from living a moral and ethical life. They believed that everyone should follow a righteous path according to their position in society. The Vedic Aryans also introduced a social system with 3 main tiers: Brahmins, priests, Kshatriyas, warriors, and Vaishyas, commoners. As they expanded, their civilization grew and prospered in both culture and trade. In northern India, a series of 16 individual settlements or states emerged, including Gandhara, Kosala, Kuru, and Magadha. Magadha, in particular, flourished under the rule of Chandragupta Maurya in the 4th century BC. Chandragupta founded the Maurya Empire, which is considered the first Indian imperial power. The Mauryan Empire had its capital in Pataliputra, near modern-day Patna, and built magnificent temples, libraries, palaces, and even a university. The empire's success in trade was impressive, and it had a strong government and military. Chandragupta's grandson, Emperor Ashoka, became a prominent figure in Indian history. After a bloody battle against the kingdom of Kalinga, Ashoka adopted Buddhism and embraced non-violence. Buddha, also known as Siddhartha Gautama, was born in 560 BC, and by Ashoka's time, Buddhism was becoming more widespread in India. Despite Ashoka's efforts, the Mauryan Empire eventually declined and dissolved in the 2nd century BC after the last Mauryan ruler, Brihadratha, was assassinated by his commander-in-chief Pushyamitra Shunga, who then founded the Shunga dynasty in 185 BC. Although Pushyamitra Shunga was rumored to have persecuted Buddhists, Buddhism continued to thrive. His reign was marked by maintaining control over various provinces and defending against other expanding powers. After Pushyamitra's death, the Shunga dynasty lost significance, and their control was short-lived. During this time, various settlements and invading powers dominated India. One significant power was the Kushan kingdom, known for its trade with Chinese, Persian, and Roman empires along the Silk Road. In the 1st century AD, Kushan ruler Kanishka converted to Buddhism, further spreading the religion. In southern India, other kingdoms rose and fell, such as the Satavahana, Chera, Chola, and Pandya. These kingdoms fought for dominance and played significant roles in the region's history. During the Classical Age, the Gupta Empire emerged as the dominant force in northern India. The Gupta period is often referred to as northern India's Golden Age due to its stability, law and order, and cultural achievements. The Gupta rulers expanded their territory through peaceful means such as marriage alliances rather than military conquests. However, the empire eventually declined between the 5th and 6th centuries due to invasions by the Huns from Central Asia. As Buddhism, and what later became Hinduism, continued to flourish, various local and foreign powers fought for control over Indian territories. The next significant change in Indian civilization came with the arrival of Islam. Muslim invaders began sending missions to India a century after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. Muslim sultans led expeditions, capturing regions such as Sindh, Multan, and Somnath. These invasions often resulted in the defeat of native kingdoms and the destruction of Hindu temples. The Rajputs were among the most determined defenders against the Muslim sultans, but they were ultimately defeated in 1192 by Muhammad Ghori. With the spread of Islam in India, Buddhism began to decline. By the early 13th century, the Delhi Sultanate emerged as the dominant power. The first dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate was founded by Qutb-ud-Din Aibak, a former slave. His dynasty, known as the Slave Dynasty, ruled until around 1290 when the Khilji dynasty took over, starting with Jalal-ud-Din Khilji. The Khilji dynasty was followed by the Tughlaq dynasty in 1320. Although the Tughlaq dynasty maintained power until 1412, it faced significant challenges, including an invasion by Timur in 1398. After the Tughlaqs, the Sayyid dynasty ruled from 1414 to 1451, followed by the Lodi dynasty. The Lodi dynasty ended in 1526 when its ruler, Ibrahim Khan Lodi, was defeated by Babur, the leader of Kabul, at the Battle of Panipat. Babur's victory marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire, one of India's greatest empires. The Mughal Empire, of Turkic-Mongol origin, ruled much of India for over 2 centuries and achieved remarkable cultural and architectural feats, including the construction of the Taj Mahal. Despite their success, the Mughal Empire began to decline in the early 18th century due to internal revolts and external threats from the Marathas and the British. The British East India Company had been present in India for some time, and their influence grew as the Mughal Empire weakened. By 1857, the British East India Company had considerable control over India, leading to widespread discontent among the locals. This discontent culminated in the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the First War of Indian Independence. The rebellion started as a mutiny by Indian soldiers in Meerut, but quickly spread across the country. Although the British eventually suppressed the rebellion, it had lasting effects. In response to the mutiny, Queen Victoria declared on November 1, 1858, that India would be ruled directly by the British Crown. Despite British control, Indian nationalist sentiments continued to grow. Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian National Congress spearheaded the push for independence. Gandhi's non-cooperation movement, launched after World War I, aimed to withdraw all cooperation with the British government. When this movement did not achieve the desired results, Gandhi initiated the civil disobedience movement in December 1929. This movement involved declaring an Indian Independence Day and defying British laws. Although Gandhi was arrested and many rebels were killed, the movement kept the spirit of independence alive. The British were eventually pressured into holding the Round Table Conferences, starting in November 1930, to discuss Indian self-rule. Gandhi attended the second conference, but it failed to produce significant results, leading to renewed civil disobedience. Gandhi's next major campaign, the Quit India movement, called for the end of British rule during World War II. Although the movement did not immediately succeed, it intensified the struggle for independence. After World War II, a new Labour government in Britain showed more sympathy towards India's independence. Finally, on August 15, 1947, India achieved independence from British rule, marking the end of a long and arduous struggle for freedom. The history of India, from its ancient civilizations to its independence, is a testament to the resilience and diversity of its people.